Hello and welcome back, everybody, to Formula One, My Team Career, Season 2, Part 1, or Part 23 here, as we're about to make some upgrades. We have $30 million that we got from doing goals over the offseason. I have real high expectations for the season, even though we really aren't making any improvements on paper. I still believe in ourselves, like I should, because I'm a good boy. So making upgrades to the aero and chassis and everything that really needs upgrades. Working on our activities now, we have a lot of upgrades coming into play. So here, I'm going to go with aero and chassis focus, and then the driver training camp underneath from the 7th of March to the race weekend. So the schedule is reduced. We have only 16 races I went with Australia, Bahrain, Vietnam, China, and Zandvoort still being the first 5. The first race that isn't on the schedule is, I believe, Spain, and I removed Monaco since I absolutely hate that place. So, yeah. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch. I would like that you would watch, but still, you don't have to. It's not like you're forced to, but yeah, simming through the week, going through all of our upgrades. A lot of upgrades, but I bet every team is doing this with all the money they probably got. So, first off, let's look at all of our Spec 2 facilities now. Personnel was already Spec 2, but chassis, aero, durability, but all Spec 2 now. That looks pretty nice. Marketing is going to be pretty important. I want to focus on that more, but it is a ton of money. And I mean a ton. Like, that's something that'll be in between seasons. So, now, let's head on down to the car reveal. Cool. Alright. Yeah, let's now head down to the Australian Grand Prix weekend. Here's practice. I don't feel like recording my voice, so here is the Renault engine. End of practice 1, we were not even in the top 15, so 18th. It's about where I expected the pace to be in the beginning of the season. Hopefully by the end of this season we will actually be good. Still trying to get the hang of this whole thing. I feel behind from other big YouTubers who are already like at season 2 and contending for wins and championships. But never know. I gotta take my time. I guess that just makes mine more realistic. New teams, unless you're talking about Braun GP, they normally probably take a long time to get good. Here we are on qualifying though. And coming out of the final corner up to the line. P5 behind Aha. So yeah, we're P21 later on when everything cycles through. Trying to get this lap done because there is rain on the way. And I believe it's actually starting to fall here. as the practice ends. Just a little bit and across the line. What, like P20 that was? Go away, black screen. Good. All right. Simming through the rest of this session here. P20, it looks like we're going to be starting from in this Grand Prix this weekend. It's going to be tough to recover from that and maybe get some points, but we'll see. It's never out of the question.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it.
Who would you say is your biggest rival at the moment? You lost to your teammate today. Was it just not...
Appreciate your time.
Let's head down to the track then. Why not?
It's finally time once again to begin what promises to be another thrilling season of Formula One action. Pre-season times, subject of so much discussion in recent weeks, mean nothing now, as the cars line up to battle it out for points once again. So let's get this season underway. Welcome to the Australian Grand Prix. We go racing today then in the state of Victoria, where the drivers have 16 corners and 3.3 miles to navigate at an average lap speed of around 120 miles an hour. The close proximity of the barriers makes accidents inevitable, and recent history shows us that a safety car is not at all out of the question. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the turbulent wake of other cars in practice, and they've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
All right. So now at the end of the formation lap, that's something I added just so I could warm up my tires before the race began efficiently. And since these races are longer, it would actually be reasonable to do it, I guess. But yeah, now coming back onto the main straight to get in our grid position and begin this Australian Grand Prix here to begin Season 2. I'm going to be starting alongside our teammate Jack Aitken, the Firelinks Motorsport other car. So pulling into our grid slot, getting ready now for the race and to the 5 red lights in the Australian Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. Decent start. We're going to get to the inside of Grosjean here, make a big dive down the inside. It's one of my favorite things to do in races, just dive down the inside on lap 1, corner 1. That's why I hated Abu Dhabi turn 1 so much, because you couldn't really do that, especially when I got caught up in the outside line. But headed into turn 3 now, and I pretty much did the same thing I did in turn 1. Get a few more positions up into P14 now. Like last season, this race is 29 laps. I'm doing a 1-stop from softs to hards. Tire wear probably going to become very big as Daniel Ricciardo and his new Ferrari sets the fastest lap here early. Approaching George Russell, completing his first lap in the Alfa Romeo. Of course, he was at Williams last year to begin the season and through all of Season 1. Now he's in the Alfa Romeo. Lando Norris next up. Here as we move into P11, we also got by Leclerc. Oh wait, no. Whoever was behind him, we got by them off camera, but comes George back around us on the outside, headed into the fast chicane though. We don't let him get that pass done. If you're on the outside, there's no way you're going to make something like that stick without causing a wreck or going off yourself, getting a corner cutting penalty of some sort or warning. But lap 3 and settling into P11, but later on lap 9 we tracked down Lando Norris. Took us 6 laps to close that gap, which was only like 1.4 seconds, but we finally done it, and we get by both Norris and Magnussen We're stuck behind Norris for a few laps. We actually caught him a few laps earlier, I believe. We're just stuck behind him. I mean, even with DRS, we just couldn't get good runs out of the corners before. Esteban Ocon up next, but here we are going to come in for our one and only pit stop to the hard tires, which are actually going to probably be used a lot more this season, by us at least. The tires at this point were feeling absolutely terrible, so I'm so glad I was getting the hard tires on. And that's Valtteri Bottas up in front of us in the Mercedes. And that's sweet. Come out of the pits, we're in P11 here, just in front of Alex Albon, who is closing in big time to us. We get DRS somehow out of, I believe, Bottas. Not sure how that works, but alright. Stay in front of Alex for the time being. So our teammate goes into the pits and we run wide on just the next lap, and Alex gets on by. And he has DRS. If he doesn't pull away here, I don't know. I think we'd be able to get him back, but of course, he is DRS because of where the detection zone is. The detection zone for the front straightaway is 3 corners before the actual straightaway. And if you have DRS down the front stretch, you get it for that second straightaway right after that right-left corner combo thing. But Alex here, he just has the fastest car and the faster car, and he pulled away as Lando tries attacking us but fails at that. So we come across the line now to complete lap 12 and move on to lap 13, almost halfway in this race. And the car feeling decent. I mean, the tires aren't going away at this point either, like the softs were around now. Softs went away after like 5 or 6 laps, probably because I pushed so hard in the opening couple of laps to catch Lando. But here, we have 2 drivers with mechanical failures at the same time on the same half of the track. Kevin Magnussen back there in turn 4, and we just passed, that was Esteban Ocon, our rival, with the mechanical failure. So that's one of the Renaults out. The other Renault running in P6 right now, it's Sergio Perez, who went from Racing Point to Renault in the off-season. So we head back onto the front stretch. Norris, Lando Norris, gets back in front of us. We're going to have to find a way on by him and hope he doesn't do the same thing that Albon did and pulled away by... Albon pulled away by 5 seconds. Probably because the Red Bull is a faster car than what we have, Red Bull Racing. They're like 3rd on the R&D chart. That was a corner cut, but still trying to catch Lando through the high-speed right-hander. Now to the lower-speed right-hander. Still behind Lando, and at the end of lap 17, we're still far back from Lando Norris as we begin lap 18 of today's race. Can we reel him in here? We're still in DRS range, which is good. Since we have that DRS, we're also catching him by quite a bit. But we are not going to get up to the 4 of Lando Norris. Speaking of Lando Norris, he's live. Not sure if he still is. That was like an hour before I'm recording my voice after this, which is probably an hour or so before this video will be uploaded. If I upload it when I want to. Which would be on a Wednesday afternoon, probably around 3:30 p.m. 3:30 p.m. New York time, Pennsylvania time. I forgot what time zone that is. But we get on by Lando. Well, I was talking about time. Who cares about time anyways? Lap 23. Or we get on by Lando Bot, I should say. That's not the real Lando. And if it's not the real Lando, then it's Lando Bot. So lap 23 now. Pulling away from Norris by about 3.5 seconds. Albon is like 7.5 seconds almost in front of us. And gaining. So now we're just completing laps, trying to get to the end of this race here. And get to the end of the race without losing any spots. And at the end of lap 26, we have the fastest lap. That's fast. That's, as I said in like every episode, that's the fastest lap of the race. But immediately the next lap, Valtteri Bottas steals it from us. So, oh well. We were running faster than some of the big names like Valtteri, Lewis, Daniel, who is leading this race in his Ferrari. And as we head on to the last lap, it's looking like Daniel Ricciardo is going to win this race. The Ferrari driver, just his first start for the team. Most likely going to end up winning it. And as we come on through now, through the high-speed chicane, you'll see Daniel Ricciardo, fastest lap. Hamilton, fastest lap. Ricciardo gets the win in the Ferrari. Man. Two things unrealistic about that. One, Daniel Ricciardo was in a Ferrari. Two, Daniel Ricciardo was winning a race. He's not going to do that in real life since he's in a Renault. And actually, three, Ferrari is now a midfield team. So, of course, this is my team. They probably upgraded, but across the line, we spin it in. That's bad. And I'll tell you why right now. P8 at the line. That's bad. We damaged our wing before the line, which means we get deducted money because we damaged the car. No, it might only be like 10K. It's still quite a lot of money. Could be big. You never know. Oh, what a mistake. Anyways, there are the results. Daniel Ricciardo, Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas, Carlos Sainz, Max Verstappen in the top 5. With Perez, Albon, me, Lando Norris, and Charles Leclerc rounding out the top 10 and the points-paying positions. Russell and Latifi, two Williams drivers, went to Alfa Romeo and both had good races. They're still teammates, they're just had a completely different team. I'm just realizing that now. But anyways, yeah, thank you all for watching this episode. Next race going to be a very interesting Bahrain Grand Prix. I just recorded that race a few minutes ago, like half an hour ago. It's going to be one hell of a race. Don't miss it. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn notifications on so you know when it comes out. Because we'll just say it was one crazy, unexpected race with a lot of unexpected finishers in unexpected positions. So thank you all for watching. Have a nice day. What is that camera? And I'll see you all in the next video, which will be part 24.